record. Let me get to my seat here. Alright. What the hell is that? Alright. So, welcome to Lambkin Lane. We're back after about 11 months. This would be, I guess, the Halloween episode, since I have some wine here. Let me grab my cup to put some wine in here. And I got my buddy on the phone here, Michael Aspinwall.
Hey.
We're going to talk about a couple things today. One thing I wanted to talk about first, we're going to talk about Halloween Kills. And what we're going to talk about with Kills is the possibility of the original station wagon being in the film. So I saw, and I'll put a link after, there's a picture of Lindsay Wallace in the Halloween Kills. Just a picture of her showing off her new look and stuff for Lindsay Wallace and stuff. And in the background, you could sort of see a picture of what looks to be the original station wagon. And then, of course, we have the news that they found the original station wagon in a shed, which some people don't really believe. But if you look back, there's a lot of iconic vehicles that have been found in weird places. Like, I think it was the Aerosmith van that was found, like, in the woods and stuff like that. So,
Yep.
I was thinking that maybe before they even found, or maybe before the announcement of it being found in the woods, that they had possibly used it in Halloween Kills. And, yeah, so Mike's with me. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Scream 5 and maybe potentially some of our hopes and some of our hope nots. And, yeah, so Mike's a dear friend of mine. He's sort of like a co-host to the show. I have him on all the time, and it's because I love talking to him, for one, and for two, he really has a good grasp on the horror scene. And Scream and Halloween specifically. Mike is a big Halloween 3 guy, and he knows the Scream series inside and out. So, yeah. So, Mike, I don't know if you want to say hi.
That was maybe one of the best introductions I've ever gotten. That's so sweet. You speak in lies. Way too kind, but thank you so much. That was very nice. I was like, I'm flattered.
Oh, no, it's all right.
About? What?
It's all right. You've always been sort of like an expert. I've been in this hobby. I've loved horror forever, but I've been sort of in the Michael Myers hobby since 2006, and ever since I've been there, Mike's been there, and it's always been, Mike's always been sort of the Halloween guy, period, but the Halloween 3 guy specifically, and the Scream mastermind specifically. So anything you want to know about Scream, like, really, he's your guy. So I figured if we're going to talk about a potential new movie, that Mike should probably be the one that we talk to about it. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Scream was my first horror movie. It's the scary movie that got me to like scary movies. I'd always been into, like, Halloween the holiday and, like, spooky things like vampires and werewolves.
Right.
And stuff like that, but never really scary movies. And then on Halloween night, 1997, I watched Scream on pay-per-view with my family.
On pay-per-view?
Yeah, pay-per-view.
That's insane.
In 1997, it was a very long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was on pay-per-view, and I was at my uncle's house. My uncle and my dad took us trick or treating with our younger sister and cousin, and so it was like a whole family thing. And then we went back to my uncle's house, and he's like, "Oh, there's this. You guys want to watch a scary movie?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure." And we're thinking he's gonna put on something like more age appropriate for the little kid, you know. And because like my sister was like 9 and my cousin was like 5, you know. So I'm
Wow.
thinking he's gonna put on like Hocus Pocus or something, you know.
Which was a straight movie. My sister is obsessed with that movie, bro.
Hocus Pocus is the best movie ever. It really is. You say I know Scream inside out. I can quote Hocus Pocus like.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And before we get into Scream, I wanted to talk a little bit about kills. But first of all, before we get going, I have some stuff on camera that you can't see, Mike, but I have this Halloween 2 mug that my sister got me on Halloween for my birthday, which is in October. It's like, you know the Scarface type poster that they did with Halloween 2 with the black and white?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's that, but it's like a coffee mug. And then
Oh, that's cool.
I was telling Mike I got this cupcake Pinot Grigio here that we're sipping on. And
your Halloween 2 mug?
Yeah, it's in the Halloween 2 mug. So this is the Halloween episode. And then I have this fabulous pumpkin in the background. The one that has like the firewood, Mike, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
It's sort of like animated. I love this fucking thing. And at some point I want to do a video on my new Halloween 5 mask, but we'll get to that at some other video, some other time. But yeah, so Halloween Kills, I mean, you know, obviously they're doing flashbacks, Mike, you know that. Mike and I know literally zero about the movie, so anything we talk about here is, if ends up happening in the movie, is merely coincidence. Mike and I don't fish for spoilers or anything like that.
Just conjecture. Anything we know is what Blumhouse released last Halloween when they did that behind the scenes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they kind of showed a couple of things. That's really the only thing I know. So it's like, I know that there's a scene, at least a few scenes, in Haddonfield Memorial, because they show that.
Right.
And I know that there's a scene of Lori's house burning down, because they show that in the video. So I didn't go searching through the web to find anyone's, like, blurry fucking cell phone pictures, because I hate that. Like, this is all just stuff I know, and
right.
That
so, for one, I want to say we're going to have about 10 more minutes of video, and then it's going to just go to audio. You don't really need to see my fat face anyways, but
oh my god,
I wanted to show off some of the stuff here, and the future videos will be all video, so it's nothing to worry about there. But yeah, so with Halloween Kills, I mean, I like that they're bringing back all this, you know, original stuff, and you know, we have I don't know if you know this, Mike, which I hope you don't mind me saying, but the guy that plays the flashback Michael, do you know who that is, or?
No, oh my god, I don't want to know.
You don't want to know?
No, I don't want to know.
Well, you know it's not Jim, though, right?
I didn't know that. As far as I knew, he was playing him. As far as I knew, they were doing the same thing they did with the 2018 Halloween.
All right, so I'm an asshole then. Damn.
You warned me about everything else.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, I won't tell you who it is, but the thing is, it's supposed, Jim is what, 61 years old? So if we're going to have flashbacks, I mean, I guess it would sort of be right to have a younger person, right?
Yes, and I kind of assumed initially that they would, but I have no idea who's playing him.
All right, so that's all right. So we'll leave that then. That's fine. I'm sure a lot of there's a lot of people who already know who it is, anyways.
Really? Wow, I feel so in the dark.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's with me not looking up like spoilers either. That's just something that's kind of out there right now, I guess. But
oh, okay.
It will be interesting to see. I don't know how I'm gonna feel like if I see old school Michael rolling around in the station wagon. That's gonna be pretty intense, and I think it could be a replica station wagon, but it's just a big coincidence to me that they find the original station wagon a couple months after filming wraps. It's like, oh, by the way, we found the original station wagon. It's going to be at a convention.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah. Did you have that for kills too? Because, and another thing I was kind of wondering was, possibly if they have the Myers house maybe in the next one.
Well, okay, because if you're, I'm glad you brought this up, because this brings up a good point, is that when Halloween 2018 came out, everyone was like, well, why didn't they go back to the Myers house? Where was Tommy Doyle? Where was Lindsay Wallace? And it's like, guys, listen, they can't pack everything into one movie. Halloween was about reintroducing you to Laurie Strode and Where Is She Now, and introducing you to Haddonfield 40 years later. I was like, so they're not going to make sure they give you every single bit of fan service they can, because they were initially planning at least 2 movies.
And it's like, it would make sense that Lindsay and Tommy were kind of like not in the know, because Michael just sort of escaped and then all this shit went down. And it was like,
yeah,
if Halloween Kills takes place on the same night, then they come back on the same fucking night, then that's even fast, I think, for them to become in the know. Like, Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace are like, oh shit, we got to go back to Haddonfield. It's like the same night. It's like, that's a little quick even. So it definitely makes sense that they're not in Halloween 2018. One thing that, it's not that it doesn't make sense to me, but I would have rather maybe a connection in 2018 is the Myers house itself. Maybe I probably would rather it be in 2018, just because it's like, Michael didn't bother with the house in 2018. What the hell does he care if we're going into Kills? Now he cares about the house, like, but...
Well, no, I don't think it's Michael that's going to be in the house. I think if they're going to have the house in it, they're going to do something like what the kids did in the original, where you're going to have, like, teenagers or kids or something try to dare each other to go up and egg the house or what have you. And then you're going to have the cops pull up and be like, guys, get the fuck away from that house.
That's true, because they do have Lonnie back, which is what is it, Cameron?
Yeah.
It's his dad. That's his dad.
Yeah.
So they have him back, and it's said in his character bio, which is, again, these aren't spoilers. This is all everything that Blumhouse put out, like, I think last year. And it said, the only thing it said for him was that he was tormented by his past for being kind of cowardice about the whole Michael Myers thing. So,
for it.
You make a good point there, dude. Like, maybe he does go back to the house and he's like, you know, I was a coward during these times, and now it's like kind of he's back, so it's sort of, you know, time for him to face his fear type thing.
Yeah, and I think also you're gonna get a thing where kind of like the original Halloween 2, where you're going to have once Laurie and Karen and Allison get to the cops, you're gonna have a media frenzy where they're like, "Fuck, Michael Myers is back. Why didn't the cops tell us about this? Why wasn't this on the news?" And then you're gonna have reporters showing up at the house going, "What's Michael Myers doing here again 40 years later, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
Which I have a feeling Halloween Kills could be very similar tonally to the original Halloween 2, which I kind of love because they made a choice to retcon Halloween 2 out of this canon. So I think it's kind of cool that they're making all these homages to Halloween 2. Like the idea that Haddonfield Memorial is back, and that at least part of this movie, I don't know if it's the whole movie or what have you, but at least part of this movie takes place on the same night. So I think that's interesting, that it picks up right from where Halloween left off, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's a nice little, like, hey, Halloween 2, we know we retconned you out to get rid of the stupid brother-sister thing, but, like, we still love you. There's still a lot of love for Halloween 2, so here's a little, like, here's our little tribute to it.
Yeah, and I also think that, I don't think Laurie's going to be in this movie much. I think she's going to be in the hospital the whole time, and I just have a feeling that it's not going to be her versus Michael, like, this whole movie this time.
Well, I think I would be okay with that because, like, you know me, I'm very much Team Laurie. Like,
yeah.
We are Laurie Strode, Team Laurie all the way. But the idea that...
Bye-bye to video for now. We'll see you on audio.
The idea that they've already confirmed that Jamie Lee Curtis and thereby Laurie Strode are in Halloween Kills, and then the final bit in this new chapter, Halloween Ends. I was like, wow, so they're going to do another 2 full movies with Laurie Strode, which I love, but I'm like, how are you going to do that? And, like, how is this going to be like, oh my god, is he just relentlessly coming after her again and again and again and again?
Right, yeah, like, that'd be kind of...
Is the next 2 movies, Kills and Ends, on the same night, or what's going on? And so I like the idea of using Laurie and Jamie sparingly, because I think Laurie is so important to the Halloween series. She is integral. She is the heart of the Halloween series. You know, if Michael Myers is the face, you know, everyone wants to see Michael Myers. But Laurie is the heart. Laurie is what makes those movies work. She's your in. She's your connection. So I think she's such a powerful character, and she's one of my all-time great fictional heroes. You need to use her sparingly, because Halloween 18 was such a big deal to get her back, and it was so cool to see her so vulnerable and so so strong still. You know, she's vulnerable, but she's strong, and she's fighting, and she's trying. She's trying to live her life the best way she can. And it might not be the healthiest way with her paranoia and her isolation and her alcoholism and her drug abuse. It's certainly not the healthiest way.
I watched 2018 the other night, and I definitely enjoyed it much more than the first, like, 3 times. Like, this time I liked it a lot more. And here's another question that I have for, which nobody could really answer at the moment, but I think if Halloween Kills takes place on the same night, which a lot of the stuff I'm seeing, even without looking at spoilers, which I haven't, it seems like it kind of might be the same night.
Yeah, well, like I said, at least part of it is going to take place on the same night.
And the question I'm wondering is, like, does this movie partly take place on November 1st? Because if you look at Allison's phone when they finally get her with those random people in that neighborhood that she knocks on their door, and they have that scene where the police are there with all her and all them. If you look on her phone, or actually it might be Karen's phone, but one of their phones, it's either her or Karen, it says 11:10. So
oh yeah,
that's already late as shit. So unless Halloween Kills is an hour long, you know, unless it takes place over the next hour, which there was more events that happened in the 2018 Halloween, so I'm assuming that some of Halloween Kills will probably be on November 1st. I mean, which is silly to say because we always technically count Halloween until you wake up, you know what I mean? But
exactly, and I always had this thing when I was a little kid that Halloween is from sunrise to sunrise.
Yes.
So it's from sunrise October 31st. Well, I cheat a little because for me it's like from midnight to sunrise. So from October 30th and then you hit midnight and it's the 31st, I'm like, it's Halloween. But then for me, Halloween isn't over until the sun comes up. So it's like, again, like the same thing they did with Halloween 2. Most of Halloween 2 takes place on November 1st because it goes more into that after hours late night feel.
Right.
Where it's like, Halloween's over. The kids are dead. The parties are over. No one's trick-or-treating. You know, it's over by now. By halfway through that movie, it's after midnight, you know? And I think that's what they're going to do here, where you're going to see that late-night Halloween. You're going to see that after midnight Halloween, you know? Where you're in that weird after-hours, pre-dawn kind of a deal, you know?
Well, I think that'd be sweet, and hopefully soon I'm gonna get somebody. I don't want to mention it now, who exactly it is, but I'm gonna get somebody from the movie that's gonna hopefully come on the podcast. I tried it last year, and it was a go. I had an interview to interview this person, and then my grandfather died, so it didn't end up happening. But we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to get this person back on, and I wanted to.
And now I won't say who it is,
Right.
But I know who this is, and that would be very exciting. That's a cool thing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, hopefully there's no hard feelings between the person, but we'll see what happens. The second thing I wanted to talk about is, since Mike is the Scream King here, I wanted to get, just some thoughts, some do's and don'ts, what we expect from the new Scream that's coming out from Spyglass, or, um, just some things that we could, hopefully see in the new movie. And, I don't know, have you heard anything about when they were supposed to film that? Because I heard something about May, but...
well, shit.
I
Yeah,
mean, now...
yeah, well, here's the thing. Funny story about this is they announced that that Spyglass has bought Scream, and and that they're going ahead with what would be the fifth movie in this franchise, and they haven't said whether it's sort of an in-canon reboot, or if it's a straight remake, or if it's an actual numbered Scream 5.
Yeah.
But it was funny because they announced this, and then for months there was nothing. And someone on Facebook messaged me, and they said, "Hey, do you know anything that's going on with the new Scream?" I was like, "No, as far as I know," I said, "I don't even think they've written anything yet. I think they just acquired the rights." But then, like, a few days later, they announced the directors and a basic synopsis of the plot. So I was like,
Right.
okay, well, I stand corrected. Apparently, so as far as we know, and please, actually, let me look up the names, because as far as they've announced so far, the directors are the two directors who did a recent horror film called Ready or Not,
Okay.
which I've not seen, but I've heard really nothing but good things about it, so that's really cool. I heard that they had a very kick-ass Survivor Girl, so I'm like, okay, so they know how to do Survivor Girl, so, and which kick-ass Survivor Girl is what the Scream series is predicated on. So,
Well, I had hoped for one of two things. The first thing would be either a straight up remake with, all the same characters, just whatever, a remake, or something that doesn't directly involve Sydney, but then, she catches, sort of like Scream 4, where she catches wind or something, it comes back for some reason, and then, but the killer is not targeting her, right? So then somehow she ends up on the phone with the killer, and he sort of says to her, like, this doesn't have to involve you, but I'll include you if you keep persisting, like something like that, to where it was like she wasn't the target, but he's not objective to killing her either, like, something where it's where we don't have her being stalked for like the umpteenth time.
well, cause that's my thing. And I'm gonna differ from what you're saying just a little, because I actually don't want a straight remake of it,
Yeah,
because
I know you don't either.
yeah, I actually don't want a straight remake, because Scream is built on the mystery, where it's who is Ghostface, and we know in that story who Ghostface is. Ghostface is Billy Loomis and Stu Maka. We know that story. So what like to see is a new character. Like, if you're gonna redo Scream and have it just be like, let's say they take a Halloween 2018 route and they say this new Scream is just called Scream. I think ideally what I would like to see is a whole new story where the Woodsboro murders have happened. You know, like everything that has happened from Scream 1 to Scream 4 is canon, but it almost has nothing to do with this movie. Where like, maybe the police will say, like, oh wow, the witnesses are describing the assailant as someone in a ghost costume, and the way they're explaining it, it sounds like the same costume that was made famous by the Woodsboro murders. You know, I kind of want, I'm such a fan of it, but I want the original movie and the original cast involved even less than what you were saying. Where, at this point, how many people want Sydney and, by extension, Dewey and Gale dead? How many people can want them dead?
I think it's half and half.
What?
I think it's half and half, and I think there's a lot of people that want. They're like, I've seen a lot of like immature responses where people are like, oh, I think either Gale or Dewey should be the killer this time, and I'm like, that'd be the worst thing ever.
It's like, really?
yeah. I think some of the it might be younger kids or something like that, but it's just
I think so.
It's some of the worst ideas ever, and I'm just like, I'm not sure I'd want that. But like, even something like the Scream TV series, I love the latest season was really good.
Oh, you like season 3?
I loved them all, but I think season 3 was probably my favorite.
Oh, see, that's cool because I enjoyed season 3. Like, there was, I'll never like how season 3 came about because I think they should have finished the Lakewood story appropriately and completely, and then brought in new characters. And
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah. And I know that they had said that they wanted a more racially diverse cast to be in this, where they said the first 2 seasons were very, very white, and they wanted more racial diversity. And I was all for that. I was like, yeah, cool. So all the new characters that you're bringing in, make sure they're all racially diverse.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a real Scream movie to me, honestly.
Yeah, and that's the thing where I think they still could have done that, where they have a lot more people of color in the cast. They just could have added all those new characters and those new stories to the already existing story.
Right.
And I think that would have solved the problem. But the thing is, there was a lot of great people involved in season 3, and like Queen Latifah was a producer, and I'm a huge fan of hers. And
oh yeah, she's the shit, duh.
Yeah, and Tyler Posey was in this new series, and I loved him, and Keke Palmer was in it, and I loved her.
Yeah, she's a big up and coming actress for sure.
Yeah, and she does great music, and so I was really excited for all the stuff they were doing for season 3. You know, they got Roger Jackson back to do the voice. They got the original mask back. It was all really cool. It was just, I kind of wish they had just finished the Lakewood story first.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I think for the new one, as far as, okay, so for Ghostface, I need Jackson back, and I think what I would like is not a new. I've tried to explain this to you on Facebook. I'm not sure if you understood what I meant, but a new sculpt on the screen on the Ghostface mask, but not a different Ghostface mask. I want the same exact mask, but just a new sculpt, because every mask that is made looks different no matter what. It doesn't matter how good the replicator is. So I just want like it to be sculpted again. That's it. But to be replicated from the original Ghostface mask. So you're like, oh yeah, that's the Ghostface mask easily. No scars or anything like that, but just like the exact mask. And then you could be like, it looks a tad different. And then the people that don't make masks will probably be like, oh, it looks a tad different, but I don't know why. I can't put my finger on the trigger. And the reason being would be because it's a new sculpt. But you wouldn't, the person that doesn't make masks wouldn't know that, or someone who isn't familiar with masks wouldn't know that. But like, you and I would know. It's like, oh, it's a new sculpt. That's why, you know?
Oh, so you want Fun World to completely make a new thing, like still a classic Ghostface.
Yeah, but the same exact thing. Like, I want the same exact thing, but just like an artist stamp on it. Like the KMB was a little too much different, so I want it even more classic than that, but just enough where you could be like, oh yeah, that's a new sculpt, but definitely the same exact mask.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I could see that too. I'm also, and again, Scream is my thing. Scream is my baby. So I'm willing to go out on an intellectual leap for whatever they throw out. Like I'm going to give it an honest shot. You know.
Right.
So if they said we've got a whole new map that's still kind of ghostly and like sloopy and screaming, but it's a whole new thing, I'd be like, yeah, cool. Let's check it out. Like when they had the Brandon James mask for the show, and it looked like a screaming ghostly mask. It had the sad eyes and the mouth that was agape.
See, I'd be down for that too, but I want even closer to original, like...
Yeah. And
Scream 4, they sculpted a new mask, and that's like what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and a lot of people, actually, I'm in the very much the minority. A lot of people would it has to be the classic mask.
Yeah.
It's not Scream without the classic Ghostface mask.
I love remake type stuff though. Like I when I saw the Scarecrow Scream mask, I was like, dude, use that for a scene. That shit is fucking awesome.
And they were going to. Scream 4 originally had scenes where they had the zombie Ghostface and the Scarecrow Ghostface in the Stabathon scene.
Oh shit! Okay.
You had kids in the audience wearing all those different Ghostface masks because it's supposed to be a thing where it's like at that point in the story there had been 7 books and 7 movies. So article that one of the movies, it would be like really decayed looking and really zombie-like. And then in a scene in a movie, he might disguise himself as a scarecrow and jump out and scare somebody. So it was really conceivable. It was really conceivable that in the course of 7 Stab films, there would be a different kind of ghost face, you know? And then it was I think it was the Weinstein, fuck those guys.
Well, it's just the one fat fuck, right? Is he the one? Is one of them?
Harvey Weinstein is
okay.
The main guy, but Bob Weinstein was involved too.
Okay.
So fuck them both, you know. And I won't get too political or anything on your show, but
no, it's alright.
They got what they deserve, and I hope they burn in hell. So
I'm sure a lot of people do, Mike. It's okay.
yeah.
Including me, yeah.
That's all I'll say about that. But I think it was the Weinstein who said they're like, oh, it might be kind of confusing if we introduce a different looking ghost face so late in the film, and I think they weren't giving the audience enough credit, because when Funworld announced that they were doing these new designs for Scream 4, a lot of people assume that. They're like, oh, in this world, Ghostface has evolved. In the Stab world, Ghostface has evolved. Where it's sort of like in the Halloween series, Michael Myers has a slightly different mask in each movie. They're supposed to be the same mask or a similar mask, but it's the basic white mask. But it's like it's different every time. So when Funworld said that, I was like, what if in this world where these murders happen, it's sort of like they evolve, that there's different Michael Myers masks, there's different Ghostface masks.
Exactly.
And then, of course, when I watched the movie and I saw that there was now 7 Stab movies within this world, I was like, oh, here's where the new masks come in, is that they're part of that Stab world. So then I was really disappointed when I watched the whole movie and those masks are nowhere to be seen. Although, rumor has it that if you look somewhere in the Stabathon, in the barn scene, one of the Scarecrow masks can be seen. I don't know if that's true. I gotta go back and look.
So we'll have to look that up. And Mike, we'll continue our conversation off air, but I'm gonna end it here with the show. Maybe next week we'll go deeper into Scream details, what we think we should want, and obviously
we'll. Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
No, it's all right, dude. I love it. This is what the content needs, and we'll bring you more Halloween Kills content and all that stuff. And as all the news comes in, we'll give it to you. And yeah, so that's it for tonight, and I hope to see you guys soon. Have a good night, everybody.